Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Car rams into persons waiting to board a bus on the Benin-Lagos road in Benin City, killing 4 of them. Angry residents march in protest over incident in the Edo State capital. Mietiala apologizes to Governor Samuel Otom over Benue killings, promises to embrace the peace initiative put forward by the governor. President Buhari approves the disbursement of 23 billion naira to farmers affected by last year's flood disaster. And lorry driver charged with the manslaughter of 39 people found dead inside a refrigerated trailer in Essex, United Kingdom. For more information on our top stories and others, just check out our website. It's channelstv.com. YouTube.com/channelsweb has videos of all our shows. President Muhamed Buhari has approved 23 billion naira for farmers that suffered losses across the country following last year's flood disaster. The fund is being disbursed through the National Food Security Council, which the president chairs. The vice president of the council, Governor Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State, made the revelation during the distribution of the items to beneficiaries in the state. Governor Bagudu explains that the gesture is to cushion the effects of the loss suffered by farmers, most of whom cannot get loans or other financial aid.
Last year, as part of the work of the Food Security Council, the council deliberated and Mr. President once more graciously approved 23 billion naira for states that have been affected by flooding in 2018. Furthermore, the President approved an intervention of 8 billion naira for states that are affected by conflict, like Zamfara, Plateau, Benue, Taraba, Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, so that people in those IDP camps can be provided with support for the resumption of normal activity. The strategy of the federal government and the state government is that we should support farmers, we should support those in the fishing communities, we should support those in the livestock sector so that they will earn more yield. And where, in the unfortunate case of flooding, many farmers who have lost their crop cannot even access credit. So it's important for them to be supported in the way they are being supported today.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, says the dishonesty of a few Nigerians is giving the nation a bad image. While speaking on the difficulty Nigerians face when opening bank accounts in the United Kingdom, Professor Osinbajo explains that it was easy back then, but now some fraudulent Nigerians have abused the trust. He insists that the world is in search of Nigerians with integrity, and that presents an opportunity to change the narrative.
It had become impossible for anyone carrying a Nigerian passport to open a bank account in a UK bank. Why? Because many Nigerians, many young Nigerians at the time, had taken advantage of the trust and abused the trust, taking loans but not repaying. Some thought how foolish these Oyinbo people are. So they used their credit cards to buy cars, furniture, and electronics, and ran back to Nigeria without honoring the trust. In the past few years, many foreign banks have closed the accounts of some Nigerians because of the numerous attempts to defraud on those accounts. So no matter how much you may have in your account, they just say, we don't want your business because it's just too much trouble to do business, especially when people cannot be trusted. So because of the untrustworthiness of a few people, a whole nation is painted black. But there is an opportunity here because so many Nigerians and foreigners and everyone must do business here in this country. The world is in search of men and women of integrity to do business with.
Now let's take a look at infrastructure. Cries of lamentation continue to trail the state of roads across the country. From Niger State to Cross River and from Kogi to Enugu State, the tale of bad roads resonates, especially with the spate of accidents. Our next report looks at the state of the federal roads.
It has been hellish for motorists and passengers trying to connect one part of the country to another using federal roads. These youths are not celebrating. They're expressing their frustration at the bad state of the Suleja-Minna road. Motorists are stranded randomly following gridlock occasioned by impassable roads. Heavy trucks and other articulated vehicles are stranded, while some smaller vehicles break down as a result of the deplorable condition of the road.
Last month, we didn't pass here again. Because when we pass here, some motor, they are falling down. Those big lorries, they carry load.
Niger State happens to have the highest number of federal roads in the state. Yes. And up to 80 to 90% of those roads are bad. Yes. And up to now, there is no practical effort to fix this road.
I have slept here for 2 days because of the condition of the road. For that day, there was about 3 trucks that break down here. So I was dodging the low bed that carried Caterpillar. That is the reason why my motor fell into this pit.
This road leads to Abuja. All our vehicles are loaded from Ogoja and Yala here. This is the road leak that they are passing through. Passing here to Owese, from Owese to Alede, from Alede to Makodi. Very shorter. Before you take the other road, before you get to Ogboko, this person now is almost close to Alafia.
According to the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, over 80% of travels in Nigeria are carried out on roads, with about 90% of that being largely federal roads. But only about 10,000 kilometers of federal roads are in good state. About 13,300 kilometers are in fair state, while 11,600 kilometers are bad. While FERMA believes the nation loses about 1 trillion naira annually due to loss in man-hour as a result of bad roads, the Ministry of Works and Housing says it needs well over 250 billion naira to fix federal roads.
The budget size for all of Nigeria's roads in 2015 was 18 billion. That was all, for all of Nigeria's roads. So those accumulations that we now have to manage and overcome was as a result of under-budgeting and under-funding. Now there's a distinction. We have increased the budget now to roughly about 300 billion, but we still can't fund the 300 billion.
In the 2020 budget proposals, the Ministry of Works and Housing is getting the highest capital allocation of 259.2 billion naira, and some of the roads that have raised concerns are set to be covered in the proposal. Perhaps the expected intervention by the ministry in this regard may bring the much-needed respite on the federal roads.
Human rights activist and senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Femi Falana, has condemned reports of alleged human rights violation, indiscriminate arrest, detention and clampdown on voices of reason in the country in recent times. Mr. Falana is challenging the human rights community to keep up the struggle on holding political office holders accountable for their actions in the face of the current clampdown. He was speaking in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, during the opening ceremony of the annual general meeting of the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights.
Now that civil rule is endangered by reckless arrest, detention, and intimidation of those who speak out against oppression and injustice in our country. The task of CDHR is perhaps greater than ever before. We need to get united. We need to get organized. And one thing that will interest you, no political party in Nigeria has criticized the Buhari regime for intimidating and harassing the Nigerian people. Because if they were in power, many of the others would do the same thing. For CDHR, we need to get other human rights bodies together and do those things that we used to do under the military. No dictator can defeat the Nigerian people. No dictator can defeat the Nigerian people, because a people united can never be defeated.
The Nigerian Dental Association wants Nigerian dentists studying and practicing in foreign countries to return home with the acquired skills and technology in order to advance the dental healthcare system in the country. The national president of the association, Dr. Evelyn Omoshibo-Eshikena, mentioned this at the memorial lecture in honor of the late Dr. Ernest Dublin Green in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Dr. Ernest Dublin Green pioneered dental practice in the old eastern region in the south and southeast of the country.
In 1949, Chief Green graduated as the first Nigerian dental surgeon with a licentiate in dental surgery from the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons in Glasgow.
The gathering is in honor of the first dental surgeon in Nigeria, Chief Ernest Dublin Green. Accolades pour in for the late dentist, who is seen to have impacted the oral health care services through his wealth of knowledge and experience from abroad.
Due to after studying and practicing in foreign and well-developed countries, can export back to Nigeria the acquired skill and technology as a hero of today. Dr. Ernest Dublin Green did back then.
Mrs. Caroline Wali is the permanent secretary of the Rivers State Ministry of Health. She says the government has prioritized healthcare in the state.
We have the best radiology units all over Nigeria. It will soon be commissioned, together with the construction work, the renovation work that is ongoing there. If you are flanking towards Aba Road, after or before Artillery, you will see the edifice, the modern giant hospital. That is almost completed. Maybe by November, December this year, it will be commissioned.
The permanent secretary has just told us about the wonderful things that the state government is doing in health, but nothing of a semblance to oral health. Nothing. Even the garrison is no longer under government control, and what is going on there is terrible to think about. May I therefore use this opportunity to appeal to well-meaning men and women of Rivers State, politically influential personalities, our royal fathers, private business owners, and chief executives to kindly support our advocacy to give dentistry and the dental profession a voice in Rivers State.
The guest lecturer, Dr. Edward Egesi, emphasizes the importance of paying attention to dental health.
Perfection of fit between the restoration and the tooth or implant depends on the accuracy of the transfer of data in the mouth to the laboratory. Inter-operator and intra-operator differences introduce human errors. You take an impression, you have to transfer it to a lab. Anything can happen. A reliable impression procedure is a prerequisite for successful making of processes. Digital impressions have been designed to meet this standard.
We hereby present this portrait of our hero.
Experts say oral health services are mostly available in urban areas. Therefore, the need to develop sustainable strategies for national preventive and therapeutic oral health services in Nigeria.
When the news at 10 returns, ahead of its annual conference, WINBIS intensifies awareness campaign on gender balance in corporate organizations and public service. That's in Business News. Join us again.